I got my first job when I was 17 years old. I had just graduated from Crawford Adventist Academy, and my father got me a job to work environmental services at York Central Hospital in York Region. Now, I know I said that I got my first job when I was 17. I had unofficial jobs, like I sold knives for Cutco when I was like 15. But my first official job was working environmental services. Now, environmental services is just a fancy way of saying I used to clean the bathroom and mop the floor. So I remember that I had to get up so early in the morning because my shift started at 7:30. And so some mornings I had to take the bus, and that was such a big thing. I had to get up so early. And so by the time I got to work and I started working for an hour, by 9 o'clock, I was so tired. So I remember being in a big room where I had to mop the room, and I was by myself. I remember taking breaks before my official 15-minute break, and I would sit in a corner of the room where nobody could see me from the door, that they would have to come inside and look for me. And I remember sitting in the corner just kind of like nodding off and almost falling asleep. But then there was a voice in my head that said, "Kevin, don't get caught sleeping on the job." I didn't want somebody to come tap me on the shoulder while I was sleeping saying, hey, wake up, and say, "Do your job." I never wanted anybody to tell me to do my job. I know what my job is, so I just wanted to be able to do it. So that was one of my fears, one of the things that propelled me to make sure that I was doing my job, because I didn't want anybody to come tell me, "Do your job." And so I love basketball. And anybody who loves basketball like me, go Raptors, they know that every player on the team has a job to do. They have a job description. The starting five in whatever position that you play. So if you're a point guard, your job is to pass the ball and put the other team members in the position to score, to put them in a good position to score. Your job is to control the tempo of the game. If sometimes the point guard has to go fast, sometimes the point guard has to go slow, sometimes the point guard has to go right in between fast and slow. If you're the two guard, your job is one thing, one-dimensional: score the basketball. That's what Michael Jordan was. He was a two guard. If you're like the number five, the tallest guy on the floor, you play the number five position. Your job, you do several things. You try to block shots. That means you're protecting the basket. You play down low near to the basket so that it doesn't clog up the outside. So you have a job description. If you're like a four, that has changed over the years, but a four, sometimes you could take shots from the outside, you play on the block, you have a specific job description. So everybody on the floor has a specific job, and we know that if everybody does a job on a basketball team, you will put yourself in a position to win. At school's starting again, and everybody that's in the school setting has a job to fulfill, a job to do. Teachers, their specific job is to make sure students are learning principles. Their job is to be instructional leaders and mentors and spiritual leaders of the institution. And students, your job is simple. You only have one job, and that is to give your best effort at everything that you do in school. That's your job. I have a family, and I have two daughters, and they're 16 and 14 now. And so we have a lot of conversations about life. And sometimes as they grow older in their teenage years, they want to experience things, and they question a lot of things that I say. And I tell them this one thing: guys, I don't understand what the problem is. This is what I say to them, because my job is to make sure that you win as a father. I want my children to win. And your job as my children is one thing. It's only one thing. You only got one thing to do. Your job is to trust me. Your job is to trust me as your father. And now mothers, they have such a huge job. And what would we do without mothers? Mothers have so many different job descriptions. That's what makes them so great, because our mothers, they fulfill all these different things in our lives, and their jobs are so intense, but they do it with such grace and they're so successful at it. I know that my mom did such a great job helping me to feel loved and meeting my needs and cooking for me. And my wife does the same thing for her children. Moms, we love you. Your jobs are endless. But check this out. God says in his word in Isaiah 41:10, so do not fear, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you, and I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Starting school during the COVID-19 coronavirus season, and it is a season, is nerve-wracking. It's scary. Who knows what's going to happen this school year? Trips, we don't know how the trips are going to work. Things are going to be completely different. We can't hug like we used to. We can't high five like we used to. We got to keep our distance. You know, some of us, we might be staying home. We might learn virtually. Like, it's just so different than what we're used to. But God says, do not be afraid. Do not fear, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you, and I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. How amazing is it to know that we have a Father, a God, who is there ready to hold us up with his righteous right hand. We need him this year. And so as we consecrate ourselves to God during this new school season, the year 2021, we have one job to do. And God says, my job is for you to win. That's my job, for you to win. And your job is to trust me. So as we go through this school year, let's remember that we need to trust God. That's our job, and God will see to it that we win. Have a blessed and an amazing school year.